includes proposing proposing to initiate a public hearing to consider the revision of Aurora's zoning ordinance, and 2, proposing an ordinance amendment that allows the city to prepare and accept an excise tax if the final decision is to affirmatively opt in. I'll ask Ed Sieben, zoning administrator, to give an overview of the first section, and Marty Lyons, our chief financial officer, give an overview of the second. They'll also be joined by assistant counsel Deb Lang if they have any legal questions. Go ahead, Ed.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. As the Mayor stated, this is strictly to initiate a public hearing to propose a zoning text amendment to incorporate the recreational cannabis Act provisions into the City of Aurora zoning ordinance. This is really the exact same process that the city initiated back in 2014 when the state passed the Medical Cannabis Act. So really nothing has changed as far as the process goes. Using the already established zoning ordinance regulation for medical cannabis, which again has been in the zoning ordinance since 2014, we would be expanding it to cover the new recreational cannabis regulations. As was previously sent out, I believe last week, the public hearing will be at the Planning Commission on Wednesday, October 2nd at 7 p.m. The public would be able to give testimony there, and the Planning Commission would make any recommendations on to the Building, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee, the RAP Committee, the Committee of the Whole, and then the City Council. So I'll turn it over to Marty.
Good afternoon, everyone. The second part of the Committee of the Whole's action this evening would be to, as the Mayor noted, to adopt a cannabis retail tax. This would behave exactly like any other retail tax. It is based on the price of the sale of cannabis. We're looking to set the tax at 2.0%. The reason for that is manyfold, but initially what we are hoping is that by having the tax at that level, it combines with our other retail tax, which is the state sales tax of 1%, plus our home rule sales tax at 1.25%, to come up with a 4.25% tax. That would be competitive with surrounding entities that are non-home rule that may be looking at the tax, where they would set theirs at 3% and then only have a single 1% sales tax to go along with that. The purpose for competitiveness is not necessarily the retail price, but to try and attract quality institutions / dispensaries. We want someone that's going to provide a great operation that is operated in a safe and responsible manner, and to try and be competitive with our tax rate gives them a chance to put dollars into the operation. We're doing this on this timeline so that we are in fact ready to move forward with the tax in the event we opt in, and so that we can get all of the information to the Illinois Department of Revenue, and we're on file with our tax when any dispensaries are ready to open.
Does anyone from the media have any questions about cannabis?
Have there been any estimates as to how much revenue the city can get from a tax?
Yes, and our report on the Committee of the Whole agenda provides that in detail. It varies greatly, but think of it in this manner, that 1% of a tax on $1 million is going to give $10,000. So then you start looking at our tax at 4.25 would then be $42,500 per $1 million in sales. The amount of sales then varies greatly based on two factors. One, the square footage of the dispensary, and the number of dispensaries in a given area. The state did a lot of review comparing Illinois to Colorado. They have a lot more licenses / dispensaries, so they have the many dispensaries, smaller model, and it would appear that we'll be looking at the fewer dispensaries because there are and potentially larger dispensaries. So long answer to, it could be as small as $200,000 to over $1 million. We're being conservative, that it be somewhere between that $200,000 and $600,000 level. I don't have my report with me. I'll rely on that, and you can take a look at it. It says it clearly.
Question?
As part of your discussions, is there any consideration for potential locations for dispensaries, like downtown, commercial strips, Route 59, or?
You know, and that's what we'll be talking about as we get further in the process and start having these public hearings about where the locations might be and how many locations we might have in the second largest city in the state.
Do you have a preference of locations?
Well, not at this particular time.
Okay.
You know, let's get a little bit further in the process with the city council accepting the idea that we may opt in before we start talking about, you know, where these locations might be.
Fair enough.
At what
Any-
point do you expect the council to actually make a vote, one way or the other, whether or not you want a dispensary?
You know, if everything works out with our timeline that we have, and I don't know if the timeline has been disseminated to the media. If not, it will be by October 22nd, or that week of October 22nd.
So along line in the last week's news release?
Any other questions concerning cannabis? Well, thank you very much. Let's move on to the next agenda. You know, thank you to our team for doing such a diligent work on this matter. Just want to reiterate, if things are put on the consent agenda tonight, they will be voted on for final approval at the next city council meeting on next Tuesday. At last week's city council meeting, we heard from a resident who was concerned about the well-being of displaced residents at 480 Garfield Avenue. The city is just as concerned. In fact, the resident, Judy Durham, and I grew up together at Indian Trail Public Housing Apartments right here in the city of Aurora. We're both raised by single mothers. Many of you may know who her mother is, Avis Miller. I saw Mavis standing over there, it threw me off a little bit. Avis Miller, who's a school board member here in the city, in District 131. You know, from a very personal standpoint, I get it. That's why I directed our team even before last week at City Council, where there was folks speaking on the issue, to see what our community resources were and what we could provide these residents to help them become stable again. Understanding the city of Aurora is not a social service agency. We do have many partners, though, in the community who specialize in specific social services. Last weekend, we released information on community resources that you'll see on the screen here. This information is on our website, on social media, and we have handouts today for you as well. Part of the information, which is critical in the request of the public, is to assist in collecting funds for families that will be disseminated through Hesed House. These funds will assist with rent, utilities, and extended hotel stays until residents find adequate housing. Before I turn over to John Curley, who will speak about some of the housing connections we've made, I do want to highlight the fact that in a situation like this in the city of Aurora, you know, we want to be proactive, planning to get to the root of the issue and not just put a Band-Aid on it for this particular situation. As we talk to these families, we know affordable housing is a concern, and we have partnered with agencies like Community Builders and Coulter Court being right here in downtown, Evergreen, who rebuilt St. Charles Hospital, and organizations like the Neighbor Project with Rick Guzman, who is here today. Rick, you want to stand up? Everybody knows Rick Guzman. Let's give him a round of applause for what he does for our community. And thanks for your efforts, Rick. That's why we announced last month right here at a media briefing the news about our Financial Empowerment Center that is committed to helping build a firm foundation for residents so they can have financial stability. This effort through our innovation department, Dr. Holloway. Dr. Holloway, if you want to stand up, you know, let's give her a round of applause for her effort in working with financial stability here in the city of Aurora. You know, I'm asking the media if you want to pull them aside and talk to them specifically about their efforts and what they do here in the city of Aurora to ensure that we have equity and equality and that we have the financial stability in our challenged communities and the housing that we're working on ensuring that our folks have. We want affordable housing here in the city of Aurora. We don't want situations like this to ever occur, but sometimes they do, and we have to react, and I think that's exactly what we've done. In the short term, however, we are working just as diligently to help as well. Our Chief Development Officer, John Curley, will explain a little bit more.
Thanks, Mayor and everyone. I just wanted to highlight kind of the efforts that the city's gone through to try and make a match between open vacancies for rentals and the persons that have been displaced from 480, 460 Garfield, our former Y. As the mayor mentioned a couple weeks back, when we first were engaging in the vacancy process, we started reaching out and started a process to solicit for vacancies. As you may know, we have a rental licensing program. If your rental license is in fact vacant at any moment or at a period of time when we're renewing, we actually ask that it be registered as a vacant property. So we use that information to try and engage landlords that were in that status to see if there was anyone interested. In addition to that, the minute there were news articles about this situation, we had landlords reach out to us. Since then, in the last week, we sent a broadcasted email to more than 5,000 landlords in the city of Aurora. What we were finding was that even if there wasn't a vacancy here in Aurora, many of our landlords have property in adjacent communities that might be a match as well. To date, we found 24 vacant units that have been identified that are all under $900 per month. 13 of these units are between $500 and $700 a month. They are in either Aurora, Plano, or Mendota. We have been corresponding with 3 of the tenants that have been displaced, and I'll only identify them with unit numbers, unit number 309, 506, and 511. So we've been corresponding with them and trying to get their information, get the landlord's information to the tenants so that they can reach out to the landlords, see if they can make a match for a occupancy.
Now, you stated that some of these locations that we're attempting to help and relocate people are in Plano and Mendota. I can say as mayor of the city of Aurora, I want to make sure that we have adequate housing here in the city. However, we have to make sure that currently we find those residents, those 30 families, the capability, a place in the capability they can afford right now. You know, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask Mr. Guzman and Dr. Holloway to step up just for a second. I think we've got a few minutes. Just to give the mission of the Neighborhood Project and the mission of the Financial Empowerment Center.
Good afternoon. As the mayor mentioned, we have recently received an award to establish a financial empowerment center here in Aurora. And what that really is going to do is going to give a spirit of economic inclusion to the work that we're doing here in the Innovation Department and in the city. And in that, what we're going to provide with the Financial Empowerment Center will be free one-on-one financial counseling for low to moderate income families. And this is actually going to help our families look at the way in which they've been managing their finances and provide them with counseling and guidance and holding them accountable to creating a much more stable environment for their families and for their generations to come. This is very much a model that's designed to help families where they're at and move them towards the goals that they have set, holding them accountable again, but working with them in a very sensitive and trusting manner. We have the fortunate pleasure of working through the Neighborhood Project because they are going to be our financial counselors through this. And with their experience and relationships really with families in Aurora, we really expect that the financial empowerment centers are going to be able to touch the lives of our residents here. And unfortunately, we haven't had the opportunity to establish it in time for the Garfield families at this critical moment in their lives. But the Financial Empowerment Center will be available to them regardless of where they end up when they find their housing, and those residents who are also eligible. So I'm going to let Rick talk about his housing project with the City of Aurora, but also how the Financial Empowerment Center is going to be integrated in that project as well.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Adrian. I just wanted to touch really on how the mayor introduced this issue. There's and wanting to be not only proactive, but also address the underlying causes. And I think oftentimes the underlying issue that's identified may be a lack of affordable housing, but in this case, I think that one of the other underlying issues is the fact that many people's potential to contribute to our community is hidden by rising housing costs, by debt, by a lack of opportunity to be able to access higher education or job training. And that's exactly what the Financial Empowerment Center is designed to do, to be able to put together plans with people, to work with them, to help them achieve their goals and have more opportunities on where they can live. But then secondly, the other underlying issue, and I want to stress that we've been, I think, very fortunate that this administration's been very proactive, I think, on both of these, that these are not things that were being scrambled at the, because of an issue that came up in our community, but this work has been going on for almost a year, and that we're within months of having it launched and kicked off. But also there's been ongoing discussions about how maybe there is what we refer to as workforce housing, that in effect, similar to the artist housing that is over at the former Waubonsie campus, or the great work that Evergreen did at the former St. Charles Hospital to adaptively reuse a vacant building and put it back on the tax rolls to create a win-win for the community. Essentially, there are affordable housing resources that, if used, can create what is essentially a rent-controlled housing. So as it's a positive thing to see rents go up, as they have been for development, but at the same time, if we can use these resources, we can also create affordable housing that is basically pegged to what is affordable for people who are already living here. And so what we're hoping to do is we're actually in the process of talking with the city and Evergreen, who's done some great work, as I mentioned here before, about looking at a couple of buildings. It's a little too soon to talk about which ones, but we're really excited to be able to bring not only some units that will be sort of rent controlled and provide people who are working an opportunity for something that's affordable for them, but also to combine it with the Financial Empowerment Center so that we can work with people. It's not just going to be an affordable place, it's going to be a place where we can bring these services on site, work with tenants to be able to utilize that affordable housing as a launch pad to something even better, so that they can begin to make their own contributions to the stability and strength of our neighborhoods. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I'm proud to say that our Financial Empowerment Center will be the first and only financial empowerment center in the state of Illinois, and it'll be right here in Aurora. So we continue to provide the services to our community that our most in need require. So as the city is working to bring hope to the families we've spoke about before, the families that we're dealing with at 480 Garfield, and the families in the future that'll need the support from our administration. We're also working to bring hope to our college-age students. Education has been one of the top priorities of my administration. Last year, we were approached by Waubonsie Community College to assist with their Males of Color to help launch an initiative to help them graduate. The mayor's office stepped in and Waubonsie stepped up by dedicating money, staff, and resources. I'm happy to announce that last week, Waubonsie launched the new Triumph program for males of color under the leadership of Dr. Chassie Sheritz. We know when government and colleges work together, we can have a direct impact on the campus, in the community, and in the workforce. This is why I'm very excited today to announce a new partnership between the city of Aurora and Loyola University that can change the narrative for youth all over our great city of Aurora. I'm going to ask Ward Alderman Chiquita Hard Burns to join me at the podium along with Mr. Bill Owens, and we have another visitor also, Elizabeth Reyes. Last night we were all in attendance at the Founders Celebration for Loyola University Arrupe College, held at the Chicago Board of Trade. More than 700 people were in attendance, including celebrities, television personalities, and notable families like the Kennedys and the Shrivers were there. We were all there to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Loyola University Arrupe College, Arrupe, which means hope, in a uniquely designed associate degree college where 76% of the students have zero debt when they're done with their associate degree. 88.5% of the graduates enroll in bachelor's programs after they're done with their associate degree. 97% of graduates identify as persons of color. 100% receive institution-based financial aid. It's a college with just 350 students who have all the rights and privileges of Loyola University, including free breakfast and lunch and flexible schedules. It's one of Loyola University's treasures initiatives that was once available to Chicago students only, but beginning next semester will be available to Aurora students for free. Today we announced that the new Arupe Aurora Alliance, we're calling it the AAA, is coming to serve you from where you are at. That will provide an opportunity for Aurora students to enroll in Loyola University. They will be in Loyola University associate degree program beginning January 2020. Let me introduce Isabel Reyes, admissions counselor at Arupe College, who will briefly share more about the program, followed by Alderman Hart Burns, who will share about the open house for students next month here at City Hall.
Really good to meet you. Good afternoon, everyone. As the mayor mentioned, my name is Isabel Reyes, and I work in the Office of Admission. I'm the director of admission at Arupe College. I'm a Loyola alum, and I'm very proud to be a part of this partnership with the City of Aurora. Thank you so much, Alderwoman Shakita Hart Burns and Mayor Irvin, and also to Mr. Bill Owens, who actually introduced us to a lot of these folks. And we're very excited to initiate the partnership. On October 1st, here at the city, we will be holding an information session and application workshop for students who will be provided this opportunity to apply start as early as the spring of 2020. And for any of the students that are also interested in applying for the fall of 2020, they can also come to this application workshop. Who are the students that we're looking for? We're looking for students that are out of high school or have been out of high school for a year or 2 years. We are committed to provide an education that is not only just achievable, but also affordable and accessible for the students of the City of Aurora. We're very invested in the community, and we would like to partner with the city. We know that our program is actually a commuter program, so students would be coming from Aurora back and forth to attend classes, and we're happy that the city is looking to also invest in the students and helping them with Metro passes, right, to take transportation to the city of Chicago and back home here at Aurora. I'm gonna actually have Alderwoman Shakita Hart Burns talk a little bit more about the partnership, but we're very excited. Our leadership would like to extend thanks and a great welcome to Aurora. They were not able to come today because we're just coming out of our founders event from last night, but we're very excited to have everyone there accompanying us. Thank you.
I am so excited just to have received a call from Bill on August the 6th asking if we can help. I let the mayor know because it's something we need to do. Like he said, something is happening here. So to see that young people can go to Arupe College and get what they need, I'm excited. I'm excited because education in this state is free. Who get a college degree for free? Scholarships. But to know the fine board, the fine members that are there that's ready to help our kids here in Aurora is so wonderful. Last night showed a beautiful picture. To see those that was in attendance and knowing that Arupe College first got started with the Shriver, the Kennedy family. Do y'all believe that? Mark Shriver teased about his dear sister Maria, how Father Kay had asked him to speak and not her. She said, I got 4 books that's on the bestseller. He only got 2. That's why he was speaking. But anyway, it was so beautiful to be there, to sit there around the board members, and Bill being a board member and others, and then Rick Hammond being a board member. It was just so great to be there because we know in Aurora our kids can get a fine education. And to be a part of the Arupe Loyola family, my heart is full and happy. Because this is where we can say your AAA is going to work, Mayor. We can say that it's time that we give our kids the best opportunity. And this Arupe connection with Loyola is going to give us that big opportunity to help our kids who need it. So I'm looking forward for all the students that will come. I know we have one student in the room right now. He's ready already. On October the 1st at 7 p.m., we will start in this room, in the council chamber, and then we will go up to the 5th floor conference room where the students will have a chance to fill out their application online. And Isabel and others, Father K, I'm told, will be there as well, where you'll be able to see them firsthand and the enthusiasm they have to bring our children to Chicago and to teach them. And I believe if we reach them, we can teach them. I believe that. Thank you. Would you please receive board member Mr. Bill Owens?
Mayor, thank you so much for allowing this wonderful school, Arupe College, to form a partnership with the city of Aurora. I believe in your administration, Mayor. I see what you're doing out here at the city of Aurora, and Arupe College is, all I can say is I believe in it so much I joined the board. And I just want to know, I want everyone to know that Arupe is looking forward to the citizens of the city of Aurora to get behind and help families become a part of this.
Thank you very much. And as Alderman Hart Burns pointed out, we have very fine educational institutions right here in the city of Aurora offering great education to our young people. What we want to do is expand the opportunity. Not everybody is a right fit for Aurora University. Not everyone is a right fit for our junior colleges that we have, Wabansie Community College or COD. This may be a fit for the number of people that want to take advantage of the Loyola education in Arupe College. So we look forward to our partnership. We look forward to the success of our young students coming through that program, and we plan to send you a whole lot every year. We're 200,000 people, second largest city in the state. I think we got enough. I think we have enough kids to send to you, enough kids to go around. All right. Does the media have any questions about Arupe College? Go ahead, sir.
Just, I'm looking at this up here. People have to register for this event October 1st, and I see they do that online. Is that,
Yes.
Yes, and yeah. Then did you?
Website.
Okay.
Register right
Yeah.
all right.
Anything else? Now, I did not ask if there were any questions concerning Garfield. Are there any questions? Well, before we close. Oh, yes, sir.
How far gone is the former YMCA, or is it savable? I mean, does anybody know yet at this point?
Our staff is working with the owners of that property to determine what the next steps of that property will be, and whether or not they fix what we require so it's a safe property for people to live in. If they can't, what the next steps are and what we have to do as a city to protect our interests. Question, Steve.
Actually, that was kind of my question. I was going to ask John if, I think a week ago, when you were before the hearing officer on that building, it was still up in the air as to whether they would tear it down or renovate it. Is it still that way? I know you're due next week again in front of the hearing officer, but I didn't know if anything had changed at that time.
Yeah, Steve, that is correct. We have another hearing scheduled for next Thursday morning, at which time we expect them to come forward with some more information on the disposition of the building. Although we're getting news from the ownership that they're likely not going to have an answer at that hearing and look for more time. So I think our order request at that time will be to try and push for some answers faster to figure out what's going on.
All right, that concludes.
We have one more section, man.
Oh, one more section under there. Finally, before we leave, we want to highlight the new day in Fox Valley. On Saturday, September 21st, we are partnering with Friends of the Fox River, the Fox Valley Sierra Club, and other local organizations for the inaugural Fox River Day. This will be an entire day of community cleanups and celebrations along the entire Fox River of Waukesha to Ottawa. Please join me at the podium. Gary Mechanic of Friends of the Fox River, Linda Cola of Fox Valley Sierra Club, Charlie Zine of the Bicycle Pedestrian Transit Advisory Board. I don't see Charlie here. All right. We got Alex. You want to come up and represent that, brother? Alex Manila. On behalf of the city of Aurora, the municipality with the longest river frontage along the Fox River, it is my honor to present this proclamation today naming Saturday, September 21st, 2019 as Fox River Day in the city of Aurora. Now, proclamation Fox River Day, September 21st, 2019. Whereas the Fox River was central to the lives of Native Americans inhabiting the Fox River Valley in Wisconsin and Illinois for millennia, providing an abundance of food and water to wildlife and those native populations. And whereas the Fox River was central to the lives of early settlers of the Fox River Valley, providing a source of water and power to mill the grains to feed those settlers, saw the lumber to shelter those settlers, and drive the early machinery which formed the commercial and industrial base that gave first growth to our community. And whereas the Fox River, once a fine fishery and source of public water, became burdened with the uncontrolled discharge of industrial, commercial, and municipal wastes, with the resulting pollutions threatening the health and welfare of all populations of the Fox River, including human and wildlife. And whereas sustained and increasing diligent and effective efforts have been made over the past century to reduce and eliminate pollution and changes to our river's natural shoreline, and whereas the Fox River has largely freed its burden of pollution and once again has become a safe source of recreation and reliable public water source, with its fish and wildlife population in clear recovery, and the city of Aurora recognizes the historic, present, and future value of this unique and precious natural resource to our community and all other communities within the and beyond Fox River Valley. Now, therefore, I, Richard Irvin, declare third Saturday of September this year and every year thereafter shall be recognized as Fox River Day in the city of Aurora, and have support events, public and private, that honor and celebrate the life and well-being of the Fox River for us to share now and with future generations to come. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, I will give this award. You know what, if you stand over here, let's all take a picture together.
Mavis, would you join us, please?
Thank you very much, Mayor, and thank you to the City of Aurora, which has always been a leader, the City of Lights, always on the forefront of progress. Local protection of natural resources has never been more important. And for the largest city on the Fox River to step up, step forward, and lead the way in protecting this resource that flows through all our communities, particularly in Aurora, where you drink the Fox River. And then again, when you flush, contribute back to the Fox River. So here in Aurora, we say the Fox River runs through all our communities, but here in Aurora, the Fox River really runs through all our citizens. So, thank you very much, Mayor and the city.
With that, that concludes what? That concludes this week's media briefing. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yes. I plan to stop by for pictures of Jack McCartney.
I'm going to hand that to you.
One minute, let me just thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So actually,
Will you be here?
Well, you're at Frisco City.
Good.
That's